G'day, I'm Brad.
I'm Hayley.
This is Hayley. We haven't done this in a while. We've just left our imprisonment in Bunbury where we stopped for work for 3 months, and we are back on the road today. I just had the fright of my life.
It's that cold that I'm freezing. Don't swing in yet, keep going that way. Alright, swing in a little bit. Go straight. A little bit more to the left. That's right, I put it on the side.
But we are back on the road now and we could not be happier.
I know, it feels so good. We headed up to Perth for a few days and then we pretty much punched it straight from Perth all the way up to here in Lucky Bay, which is just south of Kalbarri. We wanted to do that big chunk because it was cold down there. We wanted to get to the warm, which we are now. Look how nice it is.
I know, we need sunscreen. Sunscreen is literally in the air.
But also there's some bad weather coming for Kalbarri and we didn't want to be here while that was on, so we thought we'd get up here quick, enjoy it while it's good, and then keep heading north.
On our drive in, we noticed that we passed Hutt Lagoon, which is a massive pink lake.
And we didn't want to stop then because it's actually a public holiday, a long weekend this weekend in WA, and we were worried about whether this campsite would fill up here, so we wanted to get here early before the crowds came.
I think it was a good sign. There was a lot of vans on the road, so we got here, got a pretty good spot here near the beach, and we'll backtrack now and go and have a look at the pink lake. We've got the goods. The pink lake was pretty good, eh? Nice and vibrant. We thought we'd just come to the end of the beach and have a bit of a sundowner, and there's bloody whales out there just carrying on, having a whale of a time.
On a show.
We're very lucky. We're going to be up bright and early to do the Kalbarri Skywalk tomorrow morning, so we'll have a beer. Hopefully you're having one too while you're watching this, and we'll see you in the morning. Land the drone. I just had the fright of my life. I thought, I have never done a night shot with a drone before, and I thought I'll get the drone up and just see what it looks like. Looked pretty cool. I'm coming back into land though, and I can see this like weird shape around the Land Cruiser, and you'll see it in the footage. And I'm like, that looks like the canopy door's open, but I haven't been in the canopy since we left. So either this thing's like flown open and I haven't locked it properly, or I just left it open in the dark this morning. And we've just been driving like 110 kilometers an hour down the road.
For like the last half an hour.
Crazy. But nothing is gone from in here. Everything is where it was. That's wild. Bloody hell. It's too early.
Okay. Let's go.
I can't believe I stuffed that up, days.
Looks like it's going to be a good one though.
made it to the Skywalk. It's cold and it's windy, but this is absolutely spectacular. Wow. What do you reckon?
It's so beautiful. It's that cold that I'm freezing and my eyes are watering from the wind. But it's so pretty. The sun's about to come up.
It's amazing.
Getting good shots?
Yes. It's a bit cold though. My hands, I can't feel my hands, so the inputs on the drone are a little bit shaky. My hands are all swollen and red and freezing. I've got a little red nose. But isn't this just gorgeous? You get it? Gorgeous?
Oh, I get it.
It's gorge. But also, if you want to be a menace when you come to Kalbarri, you can do this and the whole platform shakes. Nah, this is spectacular.
Look, we've swapped again. All the people are over there now. And then look at our platform.
I don't think we could have timed it any better. That was just perfect.
I know.
Wow, what a special moment this morning, hey?
Yeah.
This is like our first activity when we're back on the road. I don't think we could have kicked it off any better than this. There's swans down there. Don't drop the camera.
Sorry. After starting our morning at the Skywalk, which is just over there, we then came over here to Nature's Window. They're really close to each other, so it was good to do them back to back, and it is so stunning. I was a bit worried about Nature's Window because it's a very Instagrammy spot, and I know that Brad hates those sorts of places, so I thought that we'd get there and he'd just kind of be like, ugh, gotta take a photo. But it was so beautiful. Even Brad was loving it. Like, the scenery here is just insane. Have a look at this. You can actually do a loop walk around here as well. So you park at the car park and then you can walk 500 meters to Nature's Window, and then you can go back if you want, or you can do the whole 9-kilometer loop, which we actually were just saying we should do that. So we might come back another day, pack some lunch and food and extra water and give that a crack, because this whole area is just so beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. This is the spot to get married or engaged, eh?
The Murchison River is a main feature of the Kalbarri National Park, and it's partly responsible for shaping the gorges and valleys over hundreds of millions of years. The Murchison River spills into the Indian Ocean after a 700-kilometre journey from east to west, forming a water catchment of 82,000 square kilometres. The river flows intermittently throughout the year, usually stopping during the driest period in February and March. After heavy rainfall, the river contains mostly fresh water, but becomes increasingly salty as the flow decreases and saline groundwater discharges into the river. Alright, I've just let the tyres down. We're about to go on the beach here at Lucky Bay. not the Lucky Bay near Esperance, the Lucky Bay in Kalbarri, and I'm feeling seriously overwhelmed with how much there is to do in this area. I mean, we went into the national park, the interior part of the national park today, off the coast, and there was so much to see and do in there. Tomorrow, we're also going to go along the coast. There's a coastal side of the national park, and that is insanely beautiful. We had a quick sticky beak at it on our way back down here, and we're like, let's come down here tomorrow and do the coastal drive. In this campsite, we're really lucky that there's a snorkeling spot and a nice safe spot to swim on the inside of the reef on low tide here. So we just aired down our tyres. We've got a couple of beers and a couple of snacks, and we're going to spend the afternoon down the beach snorkeling, soaking up the sun and enjoying the Lucky Bay campground. Day, and we waited until around 11 o'clock to come back into Kalbarri to finish off our exploration in the national park. So we're on the coastal side of the national park today, and from what I've heard and from what I saw yesterday, this is just as spectacular but completely the opposite of what we saw yesterday. So I'm really keen to see what's down here, and it should be a good day.
It's crazy that what we saw yesterday is the same national park as what we're now going to today. Like we're on the coast, and then yesterday it felt like we were in the outback.
It felt like you were really remote yesterday, where you were only like 50 k's out of Kalbarri. Yeah. Which is right on the coast. Kalbarri would have to be one of the most diverse national parks we've visited. You can see the way the inland section of the park blends seamlessly with the coast. There are a bunch of lookouts and walks that run parallel with the highway, mixing with beaches and fringe reefs. It sure makes an adventurous day out, and is why Kalbarri quickly become one of our favourite places travelling Australia. We're just finishing off our little tour along the coast here at Kalbarri. We're almost in the town of Kalbarri, but the last stop for us is this lookout, Red Bluff Lookout. And it's just amazing to read the stories of shipwrecks and stuff along this coastline hundreds of years before Australia was even colonised.
Yeah, shipwrecked just north of here in 1712, I think it said, and there's evidence of European settlers surviving that and being here, and that's a long time before Australia was actually discovered by Captain Cook and all that. So,
and there's a story of where the sailors wrecked their ship and they had to row for 56 hours in a little, in a little rowboat, 56 hours in cyclonic winds, and this is the beach down here in which they ended up. And they even wrecked the little rowboats.
And then, because they wrecked their rowboats, they had no choice but to walk from here all the way to Perth.
Which is 500 k's by foot.
In these conditions.
In a country that has that had no civilization. You know, it would have been a pretty treacherous trek to Perth back in those days. So yeah, a lot of cool history along this coast.
To learn about, for
yeah,
sure.
Loving Kalbarri. So we're gonna head into town now.
I'm hungry.
And check out a bit of grub, see what they got on offer down there. So we're just rounding out our day here in Kalbarri, and we stopped by the last place we're going to go. We're going to go for a little snorkel, a little dive here at the Blue Holes just outside of town, and it looks good. But I just bought myself a spear gun, and you're not allowed to use spear guns here. So I think
you can back at camp.
Yeah, and we can back at Lucky Bay. So we're going to go to where we went down for a beer yesterday. We did go for a little dive yesterday just to test out Patsy's new gear. And now we're going to go for a dive again today, and I'll test out my new gear and hopefully get us some dinner, because I got a spin now. I got to go and have some practice, have a little play.
Now we really have to enjoy eating fish.
Back unsuccessful. Did find one of these in the fridge though, so that's not a bad consolation prize. I did see a few species of fish in there that I know are good eating, but I'm not quite sure on the size of them. So I've downloaded all the fish guides and identifications and the size and bag limits this morning. So I'll go home tonight and study them and come back out, because if I can't get a feed here, I'm in trouble because there's so many fish in there. Yeah, we're just gonna have a beer, me and the Patsy, watch the sun go down. I'm a bit fresh because it's a bit cold in there, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Welcome to WA. Well, it's been a wet and wild day today. Literally have not left the van all day. The wind has been sustained between 50 and 85 kilometers an hour. Crazy, never experienced wind like this in my life, and just constant rain squalls coming in from the west. Wes decided to stay here at Lucky Bay for an extra few days, just because it's cheap and we have plenty of water. But yeah, the weather's supposed to be the same tomorrow, but I thought I'm gonna run down to the beach and see how crazy it looks down there, because I imagine there's a fair bit of wind swell, and just shake out the cabin fever, because we've been inside on the laptops all day. I'll run through the dunes here and go and show you what the ocean looks like. It's massive. Holy demon. There's finally a break in the rain. It's been raining sideways. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm getting the spray from the ocean. I guess the people who told me that WA stands for windy always, they were kind of right. I'll put in a drone shot and you can see that this is literally a bay when it's calm conditions, and it looks like an absolute free-for-all out there right now. I'm gonna run back to the van before the next rain squall comes. You can see behind me, there it is. Woo! I didn't get to make it. It's getting absolutely sandblasted. Hats off to the people traveling Australia in rooftop tents. Definitely braver than I am. I just saw a couple over there, tucked back in the dunes, getting into the rooftop tent. I don't know how the thing's still attached to the top of the car, honestly, with the gusts of wind that we had. I was hoping to get back in the water here because there's such an abundance of fish in there. Been studying up on my fish species guides and the allowable sizes and stuff for common fish in the area. And I was looking forward to getting back out there and having another go, but looking at that ocean, that water is going to be milky for quite some time to come. So I think we'll make our way further up the coast and have to give the spearfishing another shot there.
Well, that wraps up our time in Kalbarri and brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to leave us a comment below. Join us next week as we make our way up to the World Heritage listed Shark Bay. We had an absolute blast up there and we can't wait to show you. See you then!